Episode 24, the herbaceous layer, bringing color, flavor, and diversity to your food forest. Welcome back to EcoAlchemy, where we grow knowledge alongside sustainable ecosystems. In our last episode, we explored the understory layer of food forests, those shrubs and small trees that provide essential support to the ecosystem under the canopy. Today, we're diving down to the herbaceous layer. This is where the real magic happens. Vegetables, herbs, and flowers that not only brighten up your garden space, but also serve pivotal roles in boosting productivity, enriching your soil, and aiding pollinators. If you're a beginner in permaculture, don't worry. You're in the right place for building solid, actionable knowledge. Let's dig into the details. The herbaceous layer consists of non-woody plants like vegetables, herbs, and flowers that grow near the ground. While this may seem like a decorative secondary thought, these plants are the unsung heroes of your food forest. They provide diversity, protect the soil from erosion, and retain moisture while continuously working to enrich your ecosystem. Essentially, the herbaceous layer fills in the gaps and serves multiple purposes to ensure a thriving, biodiverse system. For beginners, this layer is one of the easiest to start experimenting with and offers visible results fairly quickly. These plants not only enhance the aesthetic appeal, but also fulfill several functional roles, such as repelling pests, attracting pollinators, and even building soil fertility for the entire system. When planning the herbaceous layer, selecting the right plants is critical. The choices you make should balance the needs of your environment with the needs of your food forest. Consider factors like sunlight requirements, climate, and water availability. For example, if you're in an arid climate like Arizona, focus on hardy plants that thrive in these conditions. Great choices include herbs, basil, thyme, oregano, and mint. Vegetables, kale, chard, and zucchini. Flowers, marigolds, nasturtiums, and sunflowers. Each of these plants pulls its weight in the ecosystem. Herbs like basil repel pests, flowers like marigolds attract beneficial insects, and vegetables like kale offer nutritional value while shading the soil to prevent moisture loss. As you get started, think about what's readily available to you and what suits your specific climate. The herbaceous layer can seem a little overwhelming at first, especially if you're new to permaculture, but with a few techniques, you'll be growing like a pro in no time. Here are the 3 key approaches I use in my food forest. This is one of the simplest ways to ensure mutual benefit between plants. For instance, pair basil with tomatoes to enhance growth and repel pests. Plant marigolds near zucchini or squash to deter harmful insects. Companion planting also helps maximize the space in your garden and improves yield with minimal effort. Stagger your planting cycles to maintain a steady supply of fresh produce and prevent certain plants from overcrowding others. For example, start with fast-growing lettuces and transition to slower-growing kale in the same spot as the seasons change. Succession planting ensures you're continuously harvesting throughout the year. Mix flowers, herbs, and vegetables within the same garden bed. This not only creates an engaging visual display, but also increases biodiversity. For example, alternating basil, kale, and nasturtiums in a patch fosters a beautifully balanced mini ecosystem. Never underestimate the mighty flower in your permaculture setup. Flowers in the herbaceous layer are more than just eye candy. They're significant contributors to the health of your food forest. Here's why. Pollinator attractors. Plants like marigolds and nasturtiums bring in bees, butterflies, and other pollinators, ensuring better yields for your fruit and vegetable plants. Natural pest control. The same flowers that attract the good insects often repel the bad ones. For instance, nasturtiums are known for keeping aphids away. Support for beneficial insects. If you let herbs like dill and parsley flower in seed, they attract helpful predators like ladybugs and lacewings, which naturally keep pest populations in check. In short, flowers may be small, but their impact is mighty when it comes to supporting ecosystem health. One of the essential functions of the herbaceous layer is to act as a protective blanket for your soil. Dense foliage reduces evaporation, keeps the ground cool, and prevents erosion during heavy rainfall. For beginners, this is a key lesson in understanding how plants impact the invisible but all-important life in your soil. Additionally, plants in the herbaceous layer can help improve soil fertility over time. For instance, mulch and compost. This layer thrives when supported by practices like mulching, which retains moisture, and composting, which returns nutrients to the soil. Nitrogen-fixing plants, herbs like clover, are champions at fixing nitrogen in the soil, a critical nutrient many plants need to grow healthily. Food forests work on layers of interconnected support, and the herbaceous layer is foundational. Think of it as nurturing the land while growing your own abundance at the same time. To put theory into practice, here's a small experiment I recently conducted in my food forest. I interplanted kale, marigolds, and basil in a single bed. Here's what happened. The basil thrived in partial shade provided by the kale, which insulated the soil and reduced water loss. The marigolds effectively kept pests like aphids away, a common issue for leafy greens like kale. I learned how spacing affects resource competition. Basil's fast-growing foliage needed just enough room to breathe without being overshadowed. This experiment is a fantastic trick for beginners. It's simple, rewarding, and easy to replicate. Try adjusting plant varieties to suit your local conditions and tweak placements the way nature inspires you. No garden planner, beginner or expert, escapes the occasional challenge. The herbaceous layer presents a few potential difficulties, but with a little knowledge, they're easy to address. Competition. Fast-growing vegetables can overshadow slower-growing or smaller herbs. You'll need to carefully plan your bed layout and give each plant adequate space to thrive. Overcrowding. Plants in small spaces may compete for sunlight and nutrients. Thinning is a straightforward solution to ensure a balanced ecosystem. Pest issues. While companion planting helps significantly, you may still face unexpected pests. Use organic solutions like neem oil and encourage more beneficial insects by adding diversity to your flora. Every challenge is an opportunity to learn more about your food forest's dynamics. Over time, these lessons accumulate into expertise. For those just starting their permaculture journey, the herbaceous layer provides significant advantages. It's relatively low cost and beginner-friendly, with plenty of plant options to experiment with. Mistakes are more forgiving. You're unlikely to lose an entire system if one or two plants fail. The rewards are quick. Within months of planting your first herbaceous crops, you'll see tangible outcomes in soil health, biodiversity, and harvests. Think of this layer as a place to build confidence while honing your permaculture skills. You're learning hands-on how ecosystems interact while enjoying a delicious, colorful yield of garden-fresh food. This episode focused on the vibrant world of plants in the herbaceous layer, but next time we'll go even deeper literally. Our next episode will explore the root layer, a critical part of every food forest. From root vegetables like carrots and radishes to perennial plants that store nutrients for long-term soil enrichment, the root layer is a powerhouse beneath the surface. Be sure to subscribe now so you don't miss it, and share this video with anyone dreaming of a rich, self-sustaining garden. Let's keep nurturing this vision for a greener, more abundant future. Thanks for joining me today. If you've had any successes or experiments with growing herbs, vegetables, or flowers in a food forest, share your stories in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you're making permaculture work for you. Until next time, keep growing, experimenting, and learning one layer at a time.